This is a warning to those viewers who flag video contents falsely. This channel do not promote harassment, threats and cyberbullying. So you can't use harassment, threats, or cyberbullying as an excuse to flag falsely, just to silence the owner of this channel and video. This video that you are about to view have no hate speech. So you can't use hate as an excuse to flag this video falsely. Flagging falsely can get you in trouble. This channel does not support hate speech from any ethnic group. All hateful comments made by this channel subscribers will be deleted immediately. This channel does not support sex or nudity. Sex or nudity will not be tolerated on this channel. Anyone who do so will be blocked for good. Thank you for your cooperation.
I only have one message to give you. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you call me. I do care what you do with this information because it is important to our survival as a species.
Shalom Yisraya, Reach David Yisraya, sitting here live on this precious Shabbaton that Yah has granted unto his nation, the sign between he and his people, that we rest on the Shabbat. It is a Shabbaton unto the nation of Yisrael, those that he has elected according to his purpose, and those that are of the Zerah, the seed of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, as the promises, as we see the light and the bearing of that promise and the promises of Abraham in our precious Yaakov Yisrael. I want your calls. We want the response from Yisrael because there is much folly that is taking place. There is much folly among the nation of Yisrael, and we have many that are deceivers. Shaul talks, Hifah talks about how that many in the hour that we are in, he uses the word nata. He said they would retch, they would bend, they would twist, they would alter through a convoluted concept of their own vile mind. He said that many, because they do not understand, because these are unlearned men and women, they don't understand things because it's difficult for them to understand. They are people that are unlearned, and not only that, they are unstable, so they retch, they wrestle, they bend, they turn, they twist, they alter the kitzvah of Yah, the scriptures of Yah, the wisdom and the knowledge of Yah, to what? To their own shemath, their own destruction, their own death. And we find that today, Yisrael. That's why Hepha, as he wrote unto the scattered house of Yisrael, scattered abroad, he said there are those that are speaking things that they don't even understand what they are speaking. There are things that they think they have the knowledge of it, and they have no wisdom of that at all, Yisrael. And so what they do, they bend, they twist, they alter the Torah, because they are unstable men to their own destruction. You have so many different analogies and so many prophecies, and everyone on every street corner in every major city. You got one group on this corner that doesn't give a damn about the group on the corner 2 blocks over. You got another group 3 blocks over. They don't give a damn about either one of those, and neither there is no solidarity at all. They're all seeking their own. They all have the fabulous truth, and they are a bunch of jackasses. I want to read this from Bereshit, Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. You cannot define words by your unlearned ignorance. You cannot do it. You can create a culture of expression within your social setting, as we call it, slang, or words that endear you in your communication with others. But when there's an established etymology of a word, you cannot alter that. So it makes no difference what it means to you. It has an origin and originality. And in that, we find what we call the definitive. It is defined. It cannot be altered. It is established. It is settled. And you cannot alter that. You can try, but it doesn't alter the significance or the picture or the aura that it induced to the mind when one hears it. Well, it began here in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. It talks about the birth of two. Yaakov and one that was called Esau. It says, the Rishon, the first one, he came out, he was red. He was Atzmoni. He was Atmoni, which that word derives from the words Adum. So you got those that call themselves Caucasians say, you can understand, we were the first people. You got those, a group that says that all whites are the sons of Esau. You got those of the dark hued skin that say, well, all white people are the nature of Esau. Okay, we're going to examine this word Atzmoni. It implies, that is the Hebraic expression. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. It is Atzmoni. Atzmoni. It implies red and ruddy. That is the context of that. It says that he had hair or all over as a hairy garment, and they call, or there was a reciting or a kara, they call his name Hashim Esau. That's his name, Esau. He was red, he was ruddy, he was Atmoni. And that word Atmoni comes from the root word of Adom, to be red, to be ruddy. So does that imply what we as a people or our unlearned knowledge has taught us? I want to define this word out, some of the, what we will call the most recognized scholarly research of linguistics, all right? And I want to begin with an assortment of what we will call historical guides of study. I want to begin there, all right? I want to give us a brief history of the words ruddy. Ruddy. I want to use in this first analogy, there's a dictionary called Dictionary.com. You can find it, dictionary.com. This ruddy, it is an adjective. This is what it implies now. It is one of or having. It is a fresh, healthy, lively color, or a liveliness to one, a ruddy complex, red or reddish. It is a British slang word that means damned. This man was a ruddy fool. It means that one is damned. That's what it implies. One of the most recognizable dictionaries that we as that is common with most people, it is called the Merriam-Webster. Now we're looking at the origin of the word ruddy. I will define it by Torah. We're going to define it by the masteries or the mastery of the skill of linguistics and etymology. I'm going to define it and show you the master of all words by Torah, what Yah says it means. So Merriam-Webster says the origin of the word ruddy, Middle English, Ruddy, from the Old English, rudden, from rudu, redness, akin to the Old English reads, red. It implies, if we use it as a synonym, it means to be florid, blooming, glowing. It means to be full-blooded. It means to be red and rosy. That's what it means. It means liveliness in one's countenance, one's presence. That is what it implies. In the medical dictionary, when we define the word red or ruddy, it implies having a healthy reddish color. Having a healthy reddish color, usually resulting from an outdoor life, that there is life, the flowing of the blood through the cells of one's face. It gives a great radiance of fullness of life in one's face. Well, the most prestigious Oxford Dictionary, it says the word ruddy, of a person's face having a healthy red color, a cheerful pipe-smoking man of ruddy complexion. It is used as a euphemism for the words bloody. I'm defining this according to the intellectual escapades of the foolish of the world. I'm going to define it as Yah defines it. Wikipedia says ruddy. Also, it is called florid, a reddish, rosy, crimson color, close to a red, that to rose. Also, a brownish shade of ruddy, called ruddy brown, is often referred to simply as ruddy when it is referring to an animal. A pinkish tone of ruddy called ruddy pink is often referred to simply as ruddy when describe the colors of the cheek of some Caucasians. That's what the words it defines in Wikipedia. And there are those that will say, you see that? The first that came out was ruddy, and he was. Let's read that again, because I want to make sure that we understand, and we're going to examine this word ruddy, red, atzmoni. I want to examine it by the definitive of the Hebraic expression. Hallelujah. Again, it says in Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25, and the Rishon, or the first one that came out, he was atzmoni, he was red, he was ruddy, he was hairy, and they call his name Esau, hairy. He was red. He was from Adam. He was from the first man. He had life, was lively, he had strength, vivaciousness in him. Well, I don't believe that's man. Well, let's examine the words atmoni according to Torah and see if it defines it that way. See if that's so. I want you that have joined me, let us examine in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11. I want to begin reading. This is when Shamuel was sent unto Bethlehem. He was sent unto Yeshua for one purpose, to anoint the messenger, the king, the Melech of Yisrael. And the word the Torah speaks here, 1 Samuel 16:11, it says, and Shemuliah said unto Yeshua, are here all your obeying your children, those that have been birth of you? And Yeshua says, there remain yet the youngest. And behold, he keeps the soon, he is the watcher of the sheep. And Shemuliah said to Yeshua, send and fetch him. He said, for we will not even sabah, we will not even sit down till he come. He knew he was the one. He knew. Shemuliah 16:12. And Yeshua, he sent and brought him in. Look at the characteristics of David. Now he was ready. Was David a white man? Black man? Man of the dark hue? What kind of man was he? Does not the Torah say that Esau, Bereshit 25:20, he was Atmoni, he was red, he was ruddy? The same word for red, Atmoni, Hebrew, is Atmoni here with David. David was ruddy. He was reddish of the darkness of skin complexion. And with all of a yafeth, he had a beautiful countenance, his ayin, his expression. And he was tough to look at. And Yah said, arise, I want you to moshach, to smear, to pour, to anoint this one, for this is the messenger. He is the one. Let us examine the words in Shemuliah chapter 16 verse 12. When they brought in David, it says he was ready. Now that is the English expression of the words atmoni. Atmoni, atmoni. He was ruddy. He was red. He was of a darkish red complexion. His skin glowed with great brightness of beauty. Was not Esau ruddy? Was he red? Was David a son of Esau? Was he of the same birthright? Did he come? Was he born out of the nation of Israel? He used the same expression. It says that he was ruddy. It says that his countenance, he was ruddy. Now there these fools will try to debate that. Listen. I have the 1611 facsimile KJV. The 1611. And the words are identical in the original 1611. Nothing has changed. It uses the same content. He was ruddy. Now, does this word ruddy or atzmoni, red, does it apply in the same degree as it will with Esau? Or is there a dimension that is different? I ask you the question. You're listening to Shemak Yisraya Reach Day with Yisraya. Sitting here live, you can call. The telephone number is area code 843-658-6222. Someone give me a call and let me know if we have someone listening. Yah says, arise, go anoint him a ruddy man. You tell me he is of the lineage of Esau? He is of the same characteristics in the physical visual perception of him. It says the first one came out, he was Atmoni. And David, when he came in, David came in, he was ruddy. That's what it says. How do we define ruddy? Can I move a little further? Are there any, or there's only two accounts? That's what these fools will say. Some of these immature retards always posting things on our YouTube account. They insult me, but it doesn't bother me. I say, this is your last one, okay? They're little boys, that's all they are. It says again in 1 Samuel 16:12, and he sent, and he brought in David. He was at Money. He was ruddy. And with all he had a yafef. He was beautiful, his countenance. So was Esau. Was he grotesque with deformity? Was he ugly? It is the same adjective, same superlative that expressed the demeanor of David. It expressed the very demeanor of Esau. So which one was he? Was he grotesque, unappealing? Is that what it means? Can I move a little farther? I shall. It says in verse 13 of 1 Samuel, then Samuel took the horn of the oil. He took the shemim, and he anointed him in the midst of his ark. And the ruach of Yah came upon David. From that day forward, so Samuel rose up, and he went unto Ramah, unto the high place, the hill, to seek Almighty Yah. We're examining the words ruddy, ad moneh. Was David, his lineage, was it of the house of Esau, or was he of the house of Yisrael? Was his lineage associated with the same characteristics of Esau? He was red, and you can call it red ruddy. It is defined, or it is expressed in the Hebraic language, atmoneh, A-D-M-O-N-E-E, atmoneh. That's how it is expressed, A-D-M-O-N-E-E, atmoneh. It is defined. It is defined as this characteristic. That's what the word atmoneh implies. We find two accounts. We find this in Bereshit, and here in Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11, that the same superlative, the same adjective is used to express the freshness, the health, the beauty. That's what it is. And so those that are unlearned and unstable, they wretch that, they wrestle with that, and they contort it and turn it and make it what they want to. They're deceivers and they are damn liars. But that's not enough. Well, I'll tell you what, my friends. Can I share a little more? I tell you what. Let us look at 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 42. When David, when he rose in the anointed power of Yah, he said, who is this dog that spit this vile venom upon Yisrael? 1 Samuel 17. Verse 42. This beast called Goliath. It says this in 1 Samuel 17:42. That the words were so precise that even Yah, even the prophet, knew by the Ruach of Yah what was said. It says in 1 Samuel 17:42. And when the Philistine, or the Philistine, they looked about, and they saw David. He had this bazaar. He had this disdain. he held him in great contempt. He said, who is this little beast? He said he had disdain for him. And these are the words of this beast. For he is but yet a little boy, a nacha. He is yet a youth. And he says, and he is Ruddy. And he is Atmoni. And he is Yafeth. His countenance is beautiful. You see how even the prophet, his words express how David looked, and yet out of that expression of the prophet of Yah, the Nabi, this unclean Philistine, he spoke that David was Atmoni, not Ruddy, not red. Esau was Atmoni. And these liars have twisted the truth of Yah. The dirty white ones, the dirty black ones, the lawyers, the damn Mexicans and all. I don't care if you don't like me. I deal with truth.
I only have one message to give you. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you call me. I do care what you do with this information because it is important to our survival as a species.